Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Congresswoman, welcome. Wow, what a way to start this incoming Congress. Again, not everyone's even been sworn in, and there's already controversy on the Hill. But where do you stand on Congresswoman Mace's proposed resolution?
No, I already told Nancy that I'd be a co-sponsor of the bill. I think it's ridiculous that we're having to actually even have this argument. Okay, men go into men's rooms, women go into women's rooms. This is not rocket science. The fact that we even have to define this and it's going to be a fight is absurd. We already have a precedent here on the Capitol. I go to the members' gym. The members' gym has a huge a men's locker room. I'm not allowed into it. So the fact that we're going to make exceptions now to protect men from women, which we have, but we're not going to do the same thing to protect women. And look, we're not pushing this on the private sector. We're saying federally owned buildings, especially starting with the Capitol. We're going to protect women. We're going to protect girls while they're here. This should not be a massive fight. This is common sense. What we just saw in the last election cycle was that's what Americans are supporting. We just saw Senator Ted Cruz win overwhelmingly in Texas on this issue. He was attacked for it, but he won on this issue. This is what folks in North Texas are asking for. This is what folks are asking for around the country. We're going to protect women while they're in federally owned buildings, starting with the Capitol.
Well, it's a first for Congress, and it was pointed out that House Speaker Mike Johnson Axios reported that he had assured her that the resolution would be included in the House rules. But if you listen to what he had to say yesterday, maybe you wouldn't have thought that. Here's that moment.
We welcome all new members with open arms who are duly elected representatives of the people. I believe it's a command that we treat all persons with dignity and respect, and we will. And I'm not going to engage in silly debates about this. There's a concern about the uses of restroom facilities and locker rooms and all that. This is an issue that Congress has never had to address before, and we're going to do that in a deliberate fashion with member consensus on it, and we will accommodate the needs of every single person. We don't look down upon anyone. We treat everybody with dignity and respect. That's a principle that I've pursued my whole life, and we will take care of this issue of first impression for Congress, as we will any other thing. We'll provide appropriate accommodation for every member of Congress.
There have been some that called him maybe hesitant to speak clearly in that moment, to stand behind women, even on this program. We've asked a congressman about this very question. He seemed very reluctant to even answer the question. What do you see when you see men reluctant to stand up in this moment to protect women's spaces from biological men?
Well, I'll tell you, what I find very hypocritical of Democrat men is that they have no problem with keeping women out of restrooms. I'll give you an example. When I was on the board for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, we had a conversation. There was a huge debate about a resolution that would support these kind of gender-free bathrooms. And I remember immediately following this, I followed 5 of them into the men's restroom. Guess what? They all felt really uncomfortable with me there. They looked at me and they said, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, what's the problem? You just support a resolution doing this. It's hypocritical. They felt uncomfortable, but they were willing to make that resolution for other people, but not themselves. This is common sense. Men go to men's restrooms. Women go to women's restrooms. Women should be able to have a locker room where they can change without feeling like they are, in a vulnerable, sensitive space. This is the way it should be, and it has always been like this. And I'll tell you, Speaker Johnson is right. We've never had to have these debates before. But what I'm finding is in the last 4 years, we are having debates that we have never had before because common sense has some way, shape, or form always entered into the debate. I'll tell you, the last couple of years with the radical leftists and their conversations, that common sense has left the building.